Nightly reminder that the radicals in the Biden administration have successfully figured out a way to turn back time. Cher must be happy. But unfortunately, it's not back to 1989 when she released that song, but 10 years earlier, to that banner year of 1979.
With little hope of greatly increased supplies and much higher prices for what supplies there are, pressure is building again in Washington for a new look at gas rationing. There are reports that President Carter will urge Congress to reconsider the rationing plan they rejected this spring. Tonight, is gas rationing the answer? As has become common in many states in the East, cars have been lining up before dawn. By the time the pumps opened, many had been waiting 2 and 3 hours for gas.
The Dow dropped nearly 682 points today as well. That was despite Biden officials' increasingly desperate efforts to downplay the crisis.
Things will be back to normal soon, and that we're asking people not to hoard and know that we are all over this.
Folks should follow the advice of the governors and the attorney generals, which they're asking folks not to panic.
We are working hard to maintain safety while also providing much-needed temporary flexibility to minimize disruptions to the American people.
No, wait a second. Was that supposed to reassure the public? It was about as believable as Mayor Pete's last attempt at public persuasion.
What's the biggest way that transportation has been permanently changed by the pandemic?
We think trains, planes, and automobiles, but what about bikes, scooters, wheelchairs for that matter?
Remember, you can always get on your bike. Enjoy the gas disruptions. Be more like Pete. Biden's policies are working like a charm. I think so, because when more kids finally are getting back to school, parents are worried now about being able to pick them up. And just when more adults are finally returning to work, they don't know if they can make it home on what's left in the tank. And just when businesses are starting to reopen, they can't find employees. And just when COVID is finally under control, Biden's letting hundreds of thousands of health-compromised migrants into the country. The list of Biden's malfeasance goes on and on and on. And of course, the most immediate problem for millions of Americans is this gas crisis and the skyrocketing cost of fuel. But never fear, because President Biden is on it.
I think what this shows is that I think we have to make a greater investment in education as it relates to being able to train and graduate more people proficient in cybersecurity.
That may be true, but how does that help us right now? And even if that is true, why on earth then are we wasting time and money on all this indoctrination of our kids with critical race theory? Today, Biden could have sent a positive signal to the markets that he's soon ending unemployment benefits and he's urging the full reopening of the U.S. economy. Imagine if he had said that today. He could also say that he's resuming the Keystone Pipeline and allowing for new oil and gas leases on federal lands. Of course, he didn't. But let's be very clear. This is a classic self-created crisis of Biden's. Remember, COVID was fixed in January. The economic crisis was fixed. All they needed to do was keep the car on the road, and instead, Biden drove it right into a ditch. Now we have gas shortages. They're rampant across the southeastern U.S., right up into D.C. and Maryland. And the prices, you've seen them. They've been almost since Biden won the election going up. This is a painful and instant tax on everything we buy, not just fuel, by the way. Look at what he's done since taking the oath of office. A gallon of gas is now 50 cents more expensive. One of the most arrogant and revealing statements made in the last 36 hours has come from that dim light bulb herself, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
You know, if you drive an electric car, this would not be affecting you, clearly. There's a lot of broader questions in this, and we hope that we'll be able to see that investment in infrastructure that will facilitate clean and renewable energy.
That blank-eating grin, that was cute. And talk about tone deaf. If you drove a Tesla, you wouldn't be at the gas pump right now. Now, these people aren't just incompetent. They're radical. That combination is terrible. Last week, after that abysmal jobs report, Biden tried to tell us that the economy, remember, was going in the right direction. Well, now that narrative has totally been blown up. Today's inflation number shows us just how wrong Biden was. And we obviously didn't need a stimulus package earlier in the year. Now, why do we know that? Well, if you forgot your economics, it's because you don't get inflation when an economy is understimulated. You get inflation when the economy is overstimulated, which it is. And to make matters worse, Joe's freebies means that, well, they mean that businesses can't get people back on the job. But thankfully, states that actually care to grow their economies are now rejecting this damaging unemployment benefit scheme. And if you don't want to listen to the Angle, well, listen to Democrat economist Larry Summers.
There is a fiscal theory that looks at the ultimate consequences of deficits. That is flashing a red alarm. If you look at houses, if you look at used cars, if you look at commodities, if you look at labor shortages, if you look at businesses reporting price increases, signs are of inflation starting to break out.
Inflation starting to break out. Now, if I were Larry, I wouldn't expect any White House invites anytime soon. Again, these problems, though, really, they don't bother the Biden White House that much. That's why Granholm had that little smirk on her face. Either they're so rich that it doesn't matter, or they're hoping to benefit from a bigger and more powerful central government. After all, their goal, remember this, very important, isn't to raise your standard of living. It's to get you accustomed to living with less, to get you to accept that America's best days are behind us, and that we were never that great to begin with. Gas shortages are actually part of their policy, because if they cared about small businesses or wages going up, giving people jobs, they would have fought harder to reopen everything early on in the COVID mess. Instead, they fought to keep it closed for as long as they possibly could until the red states essentially just shamed them into reopening. For them, the only potential snag is if this scenario starts costing them votes. Then they're going to start worrying. That's why they're intent on taking over state elections with H.R. 1. That's why they have to drum up racism where it doesn't exist to try to scare minority voters. And that's why they cling to the false narrative about phony threats that they're pledging, of course, to save us all from.
Do you agree with your predecessors that white supremacist extremists remain the most persistent lethal threat in the homeland?
I do believe they do at this time, Mr. Chairman.
The top domestic violent extremist threat we face comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race.
Now, did the white supremacists threaten to shut down the colonial pipeline? And are those white supremacists committing all that crime in urban America, suburban America? It's absurd. If you feel that things are slowing down, if you feel more unsafe in your neighborhood, if you feel that your economic power is weakened, that your ability to travel is hampered, that's not natural or just the way things are. No, none of that is normal. That's called Joe-mentum. We were told in November that Joe Biden would calm things down. Well, he certainly calmed the economy down. It's not moving. But I think the people are experiencing other emotions, and that's the Angle.